I think we couldn't have made a better interim hire with Vince. I've had very, very few conversations with him. Obviously, he and I both have a lot going on right now on both of our plates, but the little chance I have had to speak with him and I've talked to people about him. I've heard nothing but rave reviews. I think he's going to do an outstanding job. He and I are both in tough positions. Obviously, we're taking over tough situations, but with that being said, I think we're both up for the challenge. And there's not a better person I would request to work for or work with to try to move this thing forward. So we're extremely happy about that regard. We're just, from a basketball standpoint, we're glad to be back into practice. Like I said last week, it's returning to some sense of normalcy, and we're getting there just because we've been able to practice and focus on the hardwood. So it's been a good couple days. Things are starting to slow down. I'm starting to sleep a little bit, which is good. I'm sure Vince can relate to that. But on a side note, I'd really like to thank Jeff for that really embarrassing picture he wrote me to put in his article on the So I think I actually still have that Letterman jacket at home. But no, it's been, things are starting to slow down, so we're moving in the right direction.
Any staff announcements at this point?
No, like I said, Vince and I, he's been on the job list in 24 hours now. He's got a lot going on. We've spoken for a grand total of probably 10 minutes, and we know that that's obviously a high priority on everyone's list. But there's some things that just need to be worked out, and I'm focusing on basketball and letting the administration do what they need to do.
So how is it being the only guy yelling at practice? I mean, how's that been? What's that dynamic been like?
Well, I was the only guy that yelled when I played, but no, it's tough. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You need 4 coaches to coach a Division I basketball program, especially at this level. But again, we're getting ready to start our 5th practice today, so I can make do with the time being. I don't want to have to go into Cameron Indoor in January, February, whenever it is we play them, have to coach by myself. I mean, that would be, I don't know if I'd make it back alive. But the good thing, like I've talked about over and over, and you guys are going to get tired of hearing me say this, is these players that I have on this team just make my job so much easier. They're low maintenance. They play hard every single day the whole time we're out there. A lot of them are experienced. They know what to do. Still, there's a lot of teaching, but they make my job easier because they listen. They want to be good. They want to be coached, and it just helps me tremendously.
David, how important is it to have a couple veteran kids in there who've been through this before to kind of help you out a little bit?
I don't think you can put it into words how valuable it is. It really don't. If this was a team that had a makeup of 12 freshmen and sophomores, who sophomores barely played last year, I think this would be a big uphill battle. Now, obviously, it's going to be an uphill battle, just like any other season, but, Quentin started 3 years at the point. Honest has played significant minutes. Ray played significant minutes last year. Dangadell's played significant minutes. Ryan McMahon played minutes last year. VJ obviously played last year. So having those guys just is so valuable right now, not only from my standpoint running practice, but it helps with the freshmen too, because freshmen are freshmen. I mean, they'll have their days where they're good and bad. It's a roller coaster, but having those older guys with the leadership ability is just so invaluable right now.
What's the role your dad is playing right now for you?
The role my dad's playing right now for me is being my dad. There was a time last week when all this went down where I didn't know if I was going to have a job, and my parents were concerned about David Padgett, the person, first and foremost, and they got on a plane last weekend and came back here just wanted to make sure that we were doing okay. If they wanted to see my kids, they don't get a chance to see them a whole lot because they live on the West Coast. But look, my dad was a long-time high school basketball coach. He coached me. He obviously knows the game. He knows me better than, besides my wife and my mother, he knows me better than anybody. And right now, I just need him to be my dad. He's someone who likes to keep a low profile. He's not going to butt his head where it doesn't belong. And I'm just leaning on him from advice from a personal standpoint, just trying to stay as even keel throughout this whole thing as I can.
Has he been to any practices days?
He's popped his head in once in a while. I'm not allowed to just bring in whoever I want to help coach practice. I mean, I wish I could, because that would take a little weight off my shoulders. But he'll give me observations. He obviously watched every game Louisville's played since I came back as a staff member. He's seen these players play on TV because every game's on TV. And we talk about basketball, but like I said, he's my dad first and foremost, and he's just going to do what he can to support me and try to make sure I'm successful and just keep like I said, an even keel.
Have you noticed any changing in relationship from being an assistant coach to now being the head coach with the players? Anything stick out?
Yeah, it's going to be a different dynamic. I think just because they need to know who's in charge, which they do. I mean, they have a lot of respect for me because they know I've been in their shoes. But You know, I'm also, if I had to say what kind of coach I am, I think I'm a player's coach because I was a player. I played in this program, I played for this university, and I think they have a lot of respect for me because they know that I can relate to what they're going through from a basketball standpoint. And you know, there's going to be times where I'm going to have to get on them, and you know, the job of every assistant coach in any sport anywhere in the world is when the head coach gets on you, someone's got to pick you back up. Now, as a head coach, I'm not saying I'm going to get on them and not pick them back up, but I think that dynamic changes a little bit. But that's just something that we just got to kind of work on as we go.
Have you had additional conversations with Coach Patino?
You know, like I said, last time I spoke with Coach was today. What is today? Today's Wednesday. Last Wednesday, after he met with the team here about 12:30, whatever time it was, you know, we talked briefly after that, and you know, I think he got out of town, and we haven't spoken since. So I've seen comments or been told comments that maybe he said in the media or through statements or whatnot, and I know I have his full support. I mean, he wants me to do well. I play for him. He wants the team to do well because he loves these guys. But I think Coach just wants me to focus on the Louisville basketball program and not so much, you know, Rick Pitino's former team.
Do you have any moments when you just will stop and go, I'm now Coach P at the University of Louisville?
Well, there's only one Coach P, so let's not kid ourselves there. I'm Coach Padgett. But, you know, I was sitting I got home the other night, I think it was 8 o'clock, just in time to see my oldest son go to bed, because he usually goes to bed about that time. And I got downstairs, and my wife didn't have the TV on. We just sat there on the couch, and I literally just looked over at her and I said, can you believe all this is happening right now? You know, not in a good way, not in a bad way, just the reality of it, it is what it is. And we kind of just like, you know, we just got to take it one day at a time. Everybody I've talked to on the phone, they say, how's it going, how's it going? I say, I'm literally just trying to take this one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. I'm not trying to think about, you know, the future. I'm trying to think about, okay, what do I have to do today at practice to try to get us better? That's in my mindset.
David, the lifeblood of every program is recruiting, but given the current state, do you even think about that right now?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. It's like you said, it's the lifeline of college basketball, of any college sport. But the last 8 days, last 7 days, or even last 5 since last Friday, my focus has been this team. You know, we had a practice Saturday because we hadn't used our 2 hours for the previous week. We practiced twice Sunday. We took Monday off, which was already scheduled way in advance. We practiced yesterday, and you know, we're practicing again today. And so far, it's been unbelievable. Every day, it seems to have gotten a little bit better. And yesterday was an unbelievable practice. And you know, I want to continue that every day. I want these guys to be excited to come out here and work. And I don't think you guys are going to get a chance to see them just for a couple minutes today. And you know, you'll see their body language, their enthusiasm, their attitude is absolutely terrific, and it makes it easy to come into the gym every day.
I asked this in a humorous way in the media. We always laugh. Coach Martino would always mention body fat and would always stress following that to a T. Are you going to be doing that? I mean, like what? Because he talked about that like all the time. He talked about body fat.
Well, Reagan Ong, our strength coach, and Fred Hina, our trainer, have been doing this for I think a combined, and they're going to get mad at me for making me feel old, but I think they've been doing this for over 50 years now, the two of them, and they've been here with Coach. They were here with Coach Pitino from day one. They are overly familiar with what he expected and wanted, and so I don't have to come in and say, I want this changed. They know what to do. My total trust is in their hands. They've been very good for me to rely on because they've been around. You know, Fred's had experience with the New York Mets. Coach G's been here for a long time. Maybe nobody's been here as long as Ken Klein, but Coach G's close, and you know, they know what they're doing. Again, in addition to the players making my job easier, they do just as much to make that happen as well.
When do you anticipate a decision on Jordan and Kenny, and is it up to you specifically, or is Vince helping you with that?
Well, it's going to be a decision that's up to, I think, a lot of people. It's certainly not going to be completely up to me, just because there's a lot of outside factors that, you know, I think you guys can probably imagine. But, you know, I think that's probably a question that's a little bit better suited for Vince, just from an administrative standpoint. But, you know, obviously, we need a staff. We know that. There's no hiding that. But there's a lot of things that just go into this whole thing, and we just got to let that situation work itself out.